Is it time to break up the band?
Skip Bayless.
Stephen A. Smith.
If they don't get it done this year, if they get closed out in Game 6 or Game 7 of this series, it's time to break them up.
Detonate.
Detonate.
Okay.
It's detonate. The only person, from what my sources tell me, that is safe is LeBron James. And I'm here to tell you right now, that's exactly the way it should be. He's the one untouchable. Yes, your man Batman is somebody that I would trade. But I wouldn't trade him just anywhere. Okay? And I'm not, first of all, let me preface my comment because people in the stratosphere, Twitter sphere, and all of this other, the people out there that lie and are very, very popular for misquoting me. Let me make myself very clear. This is not insider information. Nobody told me that this is being talked about or anything like that. I'm simply proposing what I believe Pat Riley should do.
Fair enough.
LeBron James is good for 30 and 8 a night in these playoffs. You look at his numbers over the last several games. You see 34, 32, 30, 29, 28, 30, 32. I mean, just a model of consistency in terms of numbers, stat sheets. Dwayne Wade doesn't seem to be himself. I don't believe Dwayne Wade is finished. I still believe he's a superstar in this league.
Thank you.
But I believe he needs to be remotivated, and I think relocation would do it.
Wow.
Skip Bayless, I believe that Pat Riley should pick up the phone and he should call Mr. Jim Buss. He should place a call to the man running the Los Angeles Lakers, and he should sit there and say that I'm willing to offer you Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade for Kobe and a Pau Gasol. Obviously, the numbers, you got to throw other players in there for the numbers to work. But that's the crux of it. And I'm not blaming Chris Bosh by any stretch of the imagination. I know the kid can play. That's not what I'm saying. I think that you're going to have some executives that are going to be a bit apprehensive because you look at a guy like Dwayne Wade, and he seems right now to be an old 30. He's not an old 30.
Thank you.
He just went away from what got him to this point because here's my indictment against Dwayne Wade. The classiest dude that I've ever covered in professional sports. Truly is.
Dwayne Wade.
That's right. Got comfortable. LeBron arrives in South Beach, and his whole thing was, we got this. You understand? I'm good because I know what I can do. But I got this dude that can carry the load for a vast majority of the game, and I can come and close.
Remember, the other dude said not four, not five. What
Not two, not three, not four, not five.
Stay with me.
Yeah,
I'm not
okay.
absolving LeBron.
Okay.
Stay with me. Dwayne Wade knows what he can do because he knows what he did. The problem was he assumed he'd always be able to do it. And here's where I'm talking about comfort. This isn't me exposing this stuff. This has all been in the newspapers. Ugly divorce, child custody battle, the beautiful starlet girlfriend in Gabrielle Union. You got all of that stuff going on. South Beach, 9 figures, contract extension. I mean, my God, can you live much better than that? I mean, this dude's got it all. He's in South Beach. He's in Hollywood. And Skip, I had our researcher pull this up for me. Right here.
Trouble.
Right here.
Yep.
This is Dwayne Wade. Notable endorsements. Nike, Gatorade, Topps, Staples, Sean John, T-Mobile, Lincoln Cars, Mission Skincare, Hublot Watches. All right, magazine covers featuring LeBron or D-Wade the last 2 years. Sports Illustrated, ESPN the magazine, Uptown, GQ. We even get into the stuff that LeBron's got. Bubblicious. He's got an endorsement deal with Bubblicious. All right, Bubblicious, Nike, Coca-Cola, State Farm, beautiful commercial. All right, all of these into Upper Deck, McDonald's, the list goes on. He even got a Cannondale Bicycle Company. LeBron. It's very Hollywood. All of it's Hollywood. Okay? You know what? Go to Hollywood. Because last time I checked, it's time to get it done here. Pat Riley came from Hollywood. Pat Riley went from Hollywood to New York, went from New York to South Beach. His mission is clear. Author of the book, The Winner Within, 4-time champion with the Lakers, champion with the Miami Heat. The man is about winning. And somehow, some way, what has happened with these guys is that, again, it's about Hollywood. And I'm not knocking up. Please make that money. Do your thing. I applaud it. The State Farm commercial with LeBron is one of the most beautiful commercials I've ever seen. It's just, I love it. About staying in school.
Sure.
I just
Great
love
message.
it. It's a fantastic message. But you have to close. You have to close. And if you can't get it done for the second year in a row, and I see it going this way, I got to do something about that. Jim Buss and Kobe Bryant do not have the greatest relationship. All right? Kobe Bryant is owed $58.2 million over the next 2 years. He doesn't want to leave. He wants to remain a Laker for life. Okay? But Jim Buss does not have the greatest relationship with Kobe. He's hitching his wagon to Andrew Bynum. We all know that, even though I still think he'd trade for Dwight Howard. But the point that I'm trying to make is this. if you have an opportunity to keep Bynum, and you can get D Wade and a Bosh and Lala, and on the other hand, you're Pat Riley, and the mission is to close, and you've got LeBron James here who needs to be taught how to become a killer. Is there a better teacher than the Black Mamba? The Black Mamba in South Beach? Because you got to remember, he is in Hollywood, and he's a 5-time champion. So if he went Hollywood, it's completely justified because he's got the credentials and the cachet to validate it. But he's still focused, ain't he? Every year, LA, right down the block, and he's still focused. Could you imagine what that boy would do with LeBron James? It's something to think about, and that's all I got to say.
That's all? After you blew the rundown completely to bits? we're 7 topics down the list now.
Provocative, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's incredible. It was quite a speech you just made. I tell you going into last night, it would be Batman's revenge. That if the NBA won't punish Tyler Hansbrough for cutting Dwayne Wade over his eye, then Dwayne Wade will take it out on Tyler Hansbrough's team on the scoreboard, which is exactly what he did. He restored order in this series. You know it, and what are you looking for now? Are you going to text LeBron?
I wrote some notes down. I'm looking it up. Keep on talking, Skip. I wrote down some notes in my BlackBerry just for you. Keep going.
I'm going to say this one more time, and I want you to listen very carefully while you look up your notes.
I'm listening.
The Miami Heat and LeBron James will go only as far as Dwayne Wade carries the Miami Heat and LeBron James. He is, and forever was, Batman. He is the mentally toughest on this team. He is the guts of this team. And for the last 5 halves of basketball against the Pacers, he said, that's enough of your trash talking and your fake tough guy. He just said, stop it, because I'm going to take this over the way you've never seen anybody take over. And Stephen A., last night, you don't think that was some special stuff? 17 to 25 on an array of jumpers and drives that just dropped your jaw. 10 rebounds for little Dwayne Wade, who's only about 6'4". 41 points in crunch time, money time, when you got to do it when you're down 13-3 in what was going to be the closeout game. You didn't want to have to go mess with these guys back in Miami and take another pound of flesh out of you as you get ready for Boston or maybe Philadelphia, and we'll talk about that later.
Right.
So what happened? Batman said, it is my turn to take over, and LeBron James went along last night for a pretty good ride.
Well, first of all, when we talk about LeBron James going along, last time I checked, that's what he came to South Beach to do. Go
okay,
along.
I'll buy that.
So you know what he said? To go along and to have Dwayne Wade finish the deal. I'm not going to sit up here and discredit Dwayne Wade and act like this dude ain't a superstar. I've been saying all along, I wanted the superstar to return. I wanted Dwayne Wade to respond to the questions about him because of his durability and because of the fact that he had deferred to LeBron James too much. Yeah. I've been imploring him. How long have I been sitting in this chair imploring Dwayne Wade to step up and stop deferring, that you are a superstar too? We need to see that from you. But I would like to point out a couple of facts that I threw out there, had research, look it up for me and make sure.
You actually did some homework here.
I always do homework, baby. To go up against the great Skip Bayless, you got to be prepared now. Here's the facts. Heat stretched the lead from 68 to 66 to 79-69, okay? Why did that happen? With Wade on the bench, LeBron James scored or assisted on 9 of the next 11, of that 11-point run. That's number one. Number two.
There hit some threes
from 90,
in there.
No, I just said he scored or assisted.
Okay.
From 97 to 91 to 103 to 91. It was LeBron's personal 6-point run, if I recall correctly. That was LeBron James. Usually it's the other way around. So in this particular situation, what happens with LeBron James? He carried, Wade finished. Now, last night, 41 points, 20 points in the second quarter. We look at a guy like Dwayne Wade. We understand this is the superstar we've been waiting for because we have not seen that much of him. Are we willing to concede that?
I would buy that, but it hadn't been time yet. It's now time.
Whoa. It was always time, because the point that I'm trying to make to you is that somebody had to carry the load. All I'm trying to say to you is let's not use Dwayne Wade's obvious greatness, okay? And we all know how great he can be. And we all know how great he can close. He's a killer. That's what he is. But let's not just use that as a means and an excuse to discredit and diminish the impact of LeBron James. Listen, I have said it before. I love how you try to twist it, because see, the Joker, being the Joker that you are, you twist this stuff all the time, but I'm not going to let you get away with it.
The Joker knows about it.
Here's what you do. What you try to do is you try to take a subject and switch it around and just mingle it up to work to your advantage. That's what you do. You do it all the time, but it's not going to work here, Skip Bayless, okay?
Oh, you're too smart for me.
I have said, actually I am. Yeah. Actually, I have said on many occasions that LeBron James, nothing matters. He's got to get the chip. That doesn't mean that we put on blinders and we act like we don't see what he's doing en route to that. The Final Four of the playoffs, it'll be finished by, we'll know tomorrow night whether it's Boston or Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But we do know definitively that the Miami Heat are going to be in that Final Four for the second consecutive year. There are still games to be played, and LeBron James is playing in them. So you got to give credit where credit is due and stop trying to use the greatness of others to rob LeBron James of what he did.
No, wait, to put it back into perspective, the three-time MVP, and
That's right. That's right.
The newest MVP.
That's
Are
right.
you kidding me?
That's right. Why am I kidding you?
Okay.
Why?
The question was, you just asked me a question. Did this prove once and for all that Dwayne Wade is the Batman, the alpha leader of this team?
He's the closer.
It's the obvious.
He's the closer.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you a question.
You admit it.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Let's use the baseball analogy here.
You?
Come on now. When it comes to my Yankees, come
Yeah.
on now. I challenge anybody to tell me they know more about the Yankees than me. Mariano Rivera, is he not the closer? I mean, this year he's hurt.
used to be,
He's
yeah.
hurt, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
42 years of age, future Hall of Famer, 600 plus saves in his career, greatest closer of all time, without question. Isn't he a closer?
Yeah.
What is Jeter? The captain. What is Jeter? The dude that's out there every single night, pretty much, balling every single night, leading his team on the field, in the clubhouse, etc., etc. So what I'm trying to say to you is that there is absolutely nothing wrong with saying that Dwayne Wade is Batman, that Dwayne Wade's a killer, that Dwayne Wade is a closer, but at the same time, LeBron James' role is just as significant as it, because you got to get to the point with closer. I'll even go a step further for you, just to make you happy, because I know this subject makes you smile. Tim Tebow, when he closed, when he showed his clutch gene,
He's got a big one.
when he showed the it factor, and all of these other superlatives that you want to throw out there about him. Well, what did it take to get him to the point where he had to close? Somebody else had to contribute. That defense had to play a role in order to keep him within striking distance so he could close. That doesn't diminish everybody else. You give him his props where it's due, but you don't do it at the expense of greatness surrounding it. That's what you need to do with LeBron.
You just compared the game of basketball that you contend that you know
Baseball,
better.
football, blah, blah, blah.
You can't compare baseball and football to basketball, because clearly way more people play in baseball, and
I was
especially
using
in
the
football.
analogy of a closer,
All right.
as opposed to something else, not the sport itself, just closing.
But Mariano Rivera doesn't play every inning of every game, right?
I understand that.
So he's not a Dwayne Wade because he can't contribute as much as Dwayne Wade does, right?
And I'm telling you that Dwayne Wade, even though he can play multiple minutes, still needs LeBron James to carry him to that point. It was last night. Let me tell you something right now. Dwayne Wade has his performance in Game 5. The Miami Heat are struggling. They're down 2-1. Who has been the most consistent player throughout the series? That has been LeBron.
easy.
The closer has been D. Wade.
Okay.
What's the problem? What's the problem with that?
Okay,
Last time I
here's
checked, that's
the
what he came
problem.
to South Beach for.
When it was time for Batman to rise, it was the second half of Game 4, and you tell me, were they not in trouble at this point of
They were
going
in
down 1-3 games,
They were in
right?
trouble. They were in trouble.
At Indy, and Dwayne Wade snaps out of a 2 for 13 the previous game, two pretty poor games by his standards in games 1 and 2, and a 1 for 8 start in that game, and says, "Watch this." Those were the money points that he scored in the second half of Game 4 at Indianapolis. That turned this series around. You know it, and I know it.
I'm not denying it.
Okay,
I'm
so,
not denying
so
that.
in the big picture, the points are scored by Dwayne Wade. Points, a lot of points, and a lot of rebounds, a lot of assists go to LeBron James. And that's, you can argue that's sort of the mortar of all this, but the bricks, the one, and I don't mean shooting bricks, but I mean the gold bricks here,
But
are Dwayne Wade.
I'm just trying to educate you about one salient point, and that is this. At the end of the day, in a perfect world for the Miami Heat, LeBron James does what he does, and D. Wade closes. That's the recipe for a championship with the Miami Heat. And as far as I'm concerned, particularly over these last 3 games, that Dwayne Wade has exploded, these last 2.5 quarters, the two and a half games.
Yep.
What we have seen is exactly that. LeBron James carrying, D. Wade closing. That's the recipe for success. It is indisputable, Skip.
Okay.
Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Oh my goodness, what else do we need to hear, guys? Nail in the coffin. We dug this guy back up, murked him. Nail in the coffin, dug him back up, reincarnated him, murked him. My God, you guys. Where do we start? Where do we start? Where do we start? Yes, folks, LeBron's entire career, basically from 2015 on, has been made up, right? Because when you go back and you dig through what I call the lost tapes, It exposes him, the media, the NBA, and all the NBA players that have vouched for this guy, not just the NBA media. Let's understand that in these videos, what they expose is, and Stephen A. Smith even says this, it's not just Skip Bayless. Stephen A. Smith was brought on board in 2012 to do what? To be an apologist for LeBron James. Whether it was through Clutch Sports, who rose to power in 2012, or he had to do it for ESPN. Nevertheless, he was put there to apologize, to be the apologist for LeBron James, but he couldn't even do that. He tried, but LeBron James was so deficient that he couldn't protect him. And what we saw was that Stephen A. Smith admitted that LeBron James came along to Miami. He came along for the ride. Not as the face of the team, not as a leader, not as a number one, but came along for the ride. That hurts. And that it's okay for Dwayne Wade to be the Batman and LeBron James to be the Robin. There's nothing wrong with that. Also, it's okay that Dwayne Wade is the closer. And he tried to make it seem like, LeBron James, he's the one that carries Dwayne Wade to a certain point, and Dwayne Wade closes. But you guys got to realize, they were talking about Dwayne Wade being on the bench at those times because Dwayne Wade was hurt. And he had some ailments and all that stuff. But when Dwayne Wade wasn't hurt, he outshined LeBron James like it was nothing. So yes, he was carrying a guy that was, had injuries. It wasn't due to Dwayne Wade needed to be carried because LeBron was greater. No, folks. We will ask you this before we move forward. Do you really think LeBron James, if he was in Dwayne Wade's shoes in 2006, with an old super team that Dwayne Wade played with, Shaq came in the league in 92. Was it 92, 93? You guys do the 92. You guys do the math. Do the math. Shaq was pretty old. Remember, they got together, I think it was 2005, and couldn't even make it to the finals. So it was the next season they made it to the finals, and he had that the old Shaq, old Gary Payton, and old Alonzo Mourning, which I think Alonzo Mourning, he wasn't old as Shaq, but he was up there. Did they come in the same draft? I thought they came in the same draft. Somewhere around there. But because it's so physical in the 90s, the wear and tear it beats you up fast. But anyways, you put LeBron James in Dwayne Wade's shoes in 2006 in that finals run. Does LeBron win that finals with old Shaq or aging Shaq? Clearly past his prime and don't want to do nothing but have fun, right? He already won his 3 straight. He could care less. Shaq is already in the history books, bro. There's nobody that can say as a superstar and the lead player that won 3 straight finals in a row and 3 straight MVPs. It don't matter how we feel about Kobe. We're not going to say he carried Kobe, but he really was the leader. That was his team. But we won't say he carried Kobe. We know better than that. But like I said, after Shaq did what he did, the 3-peat and the 3 MVPs. Oh, finals MVPs, I'm sorry. You know how big Shaq's head was? The only person that ever did that was Michael Jordan. A 3-peat and 3 straight finals MVPs. Michael Jordan is the only guy who did that. So, getting back on topic right here. No way LeBron James could have carried Shaq and won that championship like Dwayne Wade did. Because LeBron can't shoot free throws, can't shoot the mid-range. He was horrible at 3 back then, and for his career. Ain't got no leadership and things like that. Folks, let's understand, he went to Miami to do what? Learn how to win, learn how to be clutch, learn how to do this. You got to remember, in that 2007 FIBA and Olympics, Dwayne Wade was the second best player on that team behind Kobe Bryant. Dwayne Wade was. And you can say Dwayne Wade was the best on offense, and Kobe was the best two-way player on that team. And they pretty much carried LeBron James. So let's go back to these lost tapes and these videos that pretty much makes the LeBron fans look like idiots. So Stephen A. Smith said it's okay for LeBron to be a Robin and Dwayne Wade be the Batman, and that he just came over there to Miami for the ride. What's wrong with that? Let's move on. So are you kidding me? Stephen A. Smith was done with LeBron James in the Miami Heat before they actually won their first title. This guy was shaking in his boots. I think the date on that was like 6. It was, I forget when it was, but it was in 2012, and they were playing the old Boston Celtics. You know how old these guys were? They was pretty old by the time then. This wasn't the Celtics that beat LeBron in 2010. This wasn't Boston that, you know, I think they beat them in 2000, and the Heat ended up beating them in 2011 before they went to the finals. Now they're playing them again in 2012. They're even older. And by the looks of it, in 2006, guess what? It looked like the Big Three Celtics had a chance to close out LeBron in the Heat in 6. And in Game 7, we know what happened. LeBron put up some spectacular performances, no doubt about it. But the thing was, Stephen A. Smith was done. He was already jumping ship before Game 6, before it was a Game 7, and he wanted Dwayne Wade traded up out of Miami, right? And I think Dwayne Wade was going to go to LA, and LA was going to get Chris Bosh, and Miami would get who? Kobe Bryant. And as you heard, guys, Kobe Bryant, according to Stephen A. Smith, back then could teach LeBron how to be a killer, how to be clutch, how to be a superstar, how to be like Kobe Bryant. Hey, you guys make sure you share this video, because it's not about what I'm saying right here. It's about what the video footage is telling you guys. Stephen A. Smith looks like an idiot today, yesterday, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, when he's trying to vouch for this guy as the second greatest player of all time, a superstar. So basically, what they were saying is that this guy almost, if they would have lost, it would have been bad. If they would have lost to the Celtics, it would have been real bad. But the theme was, what Stephen A. Smith was saying in video 1 and video 2 is, they're trying to shop LeBron around to make this guy a great superstar, to make him be a clutch player, to not make him, to teach him how to be a great superstar, a clutch player, a leader. So he went to Dwayne Wade first for that, and it's not working, folks. It's just not working. He don't get it. And then Stephen A. Smith tried to shop him off to Kobe, because Kobe has a killer instinct, according to Stephen A. Smith. And nothing gets under his skin. He ain't worried about what nobody says. He's going to use it against you like a Michael Jordan. He was all about his business. So LeBron, according to Stephen A. Smith, he went to Wade. Now he's almost about to go to Kobe. So these guys can teach him how to be a great player, how to be clutch, how to be a leader. Because the stats ain't working out, folks. Him getting easy stats during the game, it ain't working out. Him getting these stats against, second tier competition, and then when he got to go up against the great competition, it doesn't work out, folks. This LeBron James was never a leader. And that's why when he left Miami, he had to go play with other guys who were real leaders of their team. He was never a leader. He was never a leader, folks. Kevin Love was the leader of his team. Before LeBron came back to Cleveland, Kyrie was the leader of that team. AD was the leader of that team. Okay? Dwight Howard was the leader of his team. Let's not forget, Dwight Howard not only beat LeBron James in 2009, but he beat the Big Three Celtics and then went to the finals the same year in 2009. LeBron's not a leader. And then they start bringing up Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Oh, that's real damaging right there, folks. Wow. Even Stephen A. Smith had to admit that Michael Jordan made Pippen. He was nothing when he came into the league. He couldn't do nothing. All this stuff. And Skip was like, well, you just proved my point. He's not a top 50 player. This guy had to be made. Barkley didn't have to be made by another guy. David Robinson didn't need to be made by another guy. Patrick Ewing didn't need to be made by another guy. Alonzo Mourning didn't need to be made by another guy. You could go on down the list. Tim Hardaway didn't need to be somebody else's, to be worked on by another great player. Chris Smalling, John Stockton, Karl Malone, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain. Then you want to keep going down the list? Scottie Pippen had to be taught skills. And all this stuff that Pippen eventually started doing, this all-around player, Michael Jordan did it in 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93. Right? In the regular season, in the playoffs, he was giving you 30-something points, 6 rebounds, 6 to 7 assists. It depends on what season it was. Michael Jordan came out to 87, 88 season into the 88, 89 season and gave you 32, 8, and 8. How do you want it, baby? How do you want it? Put on the Tupac song. How do you want it? LeBron can't give it to you like that. Scottie Pippen can't give it to you like that. Michael Jordan, what kind of season do you want me to give you? With the 3 steals, shooting 53% from the field. What season did Scottie Pippen shoot 50+% from the field? And 85% from the line. This is Michael Jordan, the all-around player, while giving you a block and a half, 0.9 blocks. This is Michael Jordan. This is the all-around player, locking you up on defense, offense, can run the point. Well, he gave you like 13 triple-doubles in a row. LeBron James never did that. So it was Michael Jordan that made Scottie Pippen. All this praise, Scottie Pippen, yes, get the guy praise for taking the advice from Michael Jordan, training with Michael Jordan, and being this great player thanks to Michael Jordan. Because that, trust me, it probably wasn't easy. Michael Jordan challenged a lot of guys. Michael Jordan wanted to do something that Magic didn't do, Kareem didn't do, Larry Bird didn't do, all these other players didn't do. He wanted to win with less. And when y'all said, oh, he didn't beat Bird, he didn't beat Magic, they didn't beat him with the same amount of talent. And when did Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, Kareem, and all these guys, the Pistons, beat Michael Jordan with the same amount of talent? Mike did more with less. One all-star teammate, that's it. So yeah, you scratch your head today how these guys can even fix their mouth to talk about LeBron James as any great leader, any great killer, any great clutch player, any skill player. He ain't got it. He ain't got it. And that's why he left Cleveland, so he can look like he's a leader amongst leaders. But no, he left Cleveland the first time to run up underneath some other dudes because he ain't got it. He was getting humiliated in the clutch. He ain't got it. Dudes back then, they weren't scared to block off the lane. This ain't the Curry era. This ain't none of that, folks. You actually really had dudes that played defense still until about 2015. Dudes were still playing defense. They weren't scared of this dude. That's why he kept running. Once Dwayne Wade could only do so much, man. Dwayne out there giving it his all, defense, offense, everything. But I'm not going to keep this too long. But it's just anything else? That's what Stephen A. Smith said. He needs to be trained like a Pippen was. Like Michael Jordan, took Pippen underneath his wing and taught him everything he knew. So could Kobe do the same thing if they played together. That's what Stephen A. Smith was begging for. And you people today have the nerve to kick dirt in Kobe Bryant's face? Wow. It's amazing, folks. make sure you keep this footage because hopefully they don't copyright strike me. I'll keep it up a couple days after they do it anyways. But that's just the way it is, folks. This guy was a journeyman, LeBron James, that needed to be taught or ran up under other great players to win because they were clutch, whether it was on the free throw line, whether it was shooting, whether it was playing defense. Those guys were clutch that LeBron ran up underneath because he never, ever, wherever he went, never was that clutch. LeBron just is a face of the league. That's all he is, man. That's all he is. And you got to feel sorry for the LeBron era because in the media, this is what you got. This is the face of your league. The same guy that you said was nothing, wasn't a leader, wasn't clutch, needs to learn how to, be taught how to win, how to be a leader, how to do all this stuff like Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade. And now, years later, you want to talk about this guy is better than Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant? Oh, boy. Tell me what you think.